Hi, my name is Victor Marevici, and this is my project for the Visualization and Visual Analytics class at University of Illinois at Chicago. What we were asked to do is download the earthquake data from the USGS site and visualize it in 3D in a way that we can find some interesting findings about the data. So what you can see now is my approach for the project. You can see that I already have plotted the map with earthquakes behind it. If I press the hide surface button, you can see that the plotted data is in 3D. It actually has depth, and I have a nice axis here that you can see, so you can know at what depth the earthquakes are. So I can move the map around, zoom in, zoom out, pan the map, and I can navigate whatever I want. I can even go behind the map and see the earthquakes, how they occur in different depths. One other thing I can do is I can go back in pre-saved regions that I have saved in another session. So for example, like I have this view, or I can go above Africa, or I could go at Thailand. So the way this works is while I'm navigating, let's say I go this way. If I find something that I like, let's say I found something right here that I like it and I think it's something interesting, I can press the save button and save it so I can have it for later on. This way I don't have to look for the same places again and again and again. One other thing I can do is by pressing the add button, I can add one more view, so I can start comparing things. So let's go at Thailand. So right now, as you can see, I have two views of the Earth. I can see Thailand and I can see the American continent. And by pressing these buttons, I can start filtering out and analyzing my data at the same time on both windows. I can open as many windows as I want, but the bigger screen you have, the more windows you can open. And of course, having more windows means more polygons, so you're going to have a lower speed, but if that's what you want to do, it's going to work. So looking through the controls, I can also change the way I navigate. I have my standard way and I have my fly way. Both are VTK ways of doing that. So in the fly way, in the fly mode, when you press the mouse button, you go forward, while in the standard mode, when you press the mouse button, you change the view of the camera. Some other things that I can do is I can scale the depth. So maybe by scaling the depth, I'm going to see something that I couldn't see if I haven't done that. We're going to see this a little bit later. Or I can start playing around with the magnitudes and filtering out what I want to have on my map. I haven't pressed that. Oh, actually, yeah. So as you can see, we don't have big magnitudes anymore. And now I'm gonna enable everything so I can show you the last feature, the last control of the visualization. So lastly, I can select the start date and an end date, and I can start sliding my slider and going back and forth in time to look at earthquakes as they have took place. And by pressing the play button, I can have an animation and I can see the earthquakes take place in real time. And there is a speed slider that when I move, I can change my animation speed. So let's use now this visualization and try to find some interesting things. So first of all, let's go in Africa, above Africa. So one thing that I have seen is that by combining elevation and bathymetry data, I can see that when I have in the crust like a bump, like this one right here, it seems that beneath the bump I've got a lot of earthquakes, and that's probably because the two tectonic plates are either moving apart. So I've got a rip in the surface, so I'm going to have earthquakes, or they're crashing with each other. So again, I've got earthquakes. So that's something nice that I couldn't have found without the combination of elevation data with earthquake data. Again, same thing. If I go in here, I can see the same thing. And if I go in Thailand, again, as you can see, I have a big drop in the elevation right here, and beneath that I have a lot of earthquakes. One other interesting area that I found is the Mediterranean. As you can see, we've got a high amount of earthquakes, not so big earthquakes like in Asia, where we have a lot of red dots, but a lot of smaller earthquakes, and the depth is not big. As you can see, they're not, if you always compare them with other regions, but we have a high frequency of them. And the reason is probably because the African plate is moving. We know that it's moving towards the European plate, and it's crushing it, and that's why we've got a lot of earthquakes. So now if I move this way, what I can do is I can start moving apart the earthquakes by playing with the depth scale. So what you can immediately see is that it seems that I've got two depth scales, this one and this one. It's probably around 1 and 2 thousand meters, where I've got a lot of earthquakes in the same depth region. This is something that I found interesting. And lastly, if I go from above and I look at the Earth from far away, I can see that those are the regions where I've got earthquakes. Now, if I start filtering out and I want to see only the earthquakes between 1 and 4 magnitude, I can see again that they are, all over the place, the same place. But now if I want to look at the higher magnitude earthquakes between 7 and 9, what I'm going to see is that they are, of course, less in frequency, but at the same time they are closer to the Earth's surface than all the other ones that were scattered around all over the place. Thank you for being with me for these 10 minutes. If you need anything, you can visit my website where I have the source code and the executable, and you're always welcome to download them and use them. And you can always send me an email if you have any more questions or suggestions. Thank you.